So I'm back, guys. Vince was he needed my help a minute, so I had to run away. Sorry, but I'm back. Uh, Hopefully, some people will jump in here. We can chat about the homestead, what's going on, and what we're waiting on. The house we truly want to build soon. We can walk and check out the small garden we have up here. Maybe go look at the pond. Our fruit trees, I need to spray them. They do look like they may have some kind of fungus. I think it's called leaf curl. They have our peach trees have leaves are turning red and then they're turning yellow and then they're falling off. So I believe that I need to go spray them. I hope to get that done this evening. We'll see. Hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday. And I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day yesterday. Kids came up, we camped, we grilled. My parents, my brother, my grandmother came up. We sat next to the camper and grilled and just enjoyed it. It was really, really nice. Had nice weather. Excuse me. It was just really nice. And unless you guys comment, I can't see that you're in here. So if you make a comment, I'll try to say hi to everybody that come in. But unless you guys comment, I'm not able to see it. Or because I'm doing this from my phone, I don't know who's in here. What's happening? Hopefully some people will show up right now. It looks like nobody's in here. Had a couple people in the other one. And then I had to go and help Vince, but he's on his way now, continuing to dig the pond. Pond's going to be a great asset for us. Be able to water our vegetables and our fruit trees and animals if needed. Flies are after me. Because we do not have any water up here. Hello to whoever just came in. Unless you comment, I can't see you. I don't know who's in here. I'm doing this from my phone. It's a little bit different than doing it on a computer for sure. I hope you had a great Memorial Day. Hello, Wickershire. How are you? The flies are after me. We're on our homestead today, uh, hanging out, just talking. In a bit, we may go look at the small garden we have up here and our fruit trees and the pond Vince is digging. If you hear anything in the background, it's the backhoe. He's digging a pond. Covered in poison ivy. That sounds horrible. I don't know that I've ever had poison ivy, but I get poison oak a lot. Um, and it just eats me up, and it's so hard not to scratch it. Good, good. Glad you're doing good. We're just hanging out, doing a little work today. Been out counting the local honeybees. Do you mean that you're counting each bee, or are you counting the hives as you see them on people's property? We just got two hives, and ours are busy, busy, busy right now. Lots of things are blooming. Blackberries just stopped blooming, and let's see what is blooming now. The yellow top weeds. I don't know what those are, but those are blooming. I don't know what the name of them are, but they're in all the cow pastures around. They're just blooming like crazy. a cow nor a horse will eat those, so they get in the pastures with the animals and they just multiply like crazy, and the bees love them. We have some tulip popular, pop, poplar, I think that's how you say it, poplar trees that are blooming, and the bees love those. Oh, thanks, Wickershire. Thanks for sharing me out. Did you do anything good for Memorial Day? Have any big plans? We did some grilling with the family. The kids came up. The parents came up. My grandmother came up. Hello, where to begin, Homestead? How are you today? And we all grilled. Kids camped out with us here in our little camper trailer on the property. Uh, I guess I'm going to put out a video. I think it's this week I'm putting it out. I've got a couple of videos that's in queue to go out, and I don't know if it's this week we're going to put it out or next week, but it's going to let you guys know a little more of what's going on in the homestead and why it's taking so long for us to get a house. Back here behind me, this clearing, this is where we're going to put the house, and we should have done more research before we bought our property, but we didn't, and now it's a little late. And we love our property. I don't want any other property, but we were going to be totally off the grid using composting toilet, catching rainwater, gravity feeding it into our house. But our county doesn't like that. They basically told us even if we are catching rainwater, gravity feeding into our house, we have to have a septic tank to put that gray water in, even if we're going to use a composting toilet, which makes no sense to me. The gray water we would have used the gray water to water the fruit trees, vegetables, etc. We would have reused that water, but they don't want us to do that. They want us to have a septic tank. So now we have to play by the rules, get a septic tank, and along with that, to get a septic tank, you have to have a perk test by a soil scientist that is certified in the state of Georgia. And they gave us a whole list of people, and the soonest they can do it is September. So it's really discouraging to us because we have everything to build our house and dry it in, but we can't start until we get a perk test. So the hopes of us having a house and dried in and being totally off the grid by winter is not going to happen. There's just no way. Yes, the poppet. I can't speak. My mouth betrays me. The property is unrestricted. Oh, there's a fly. Is unrestricted, but the rules are you have to have a septic tank if you have any running water in your house at all, even if it's gravity fed rainwater, which it's kind of crazy to me, but whatever. I don't know. We have to play by the rules, do what they want, and that's what they've told us we have to do. So we have to do what they want. But they have other rules, even though it's called unrestricted. There's other rules to it, which we don't mind these rules, but you can't have a tiny house. Your house has to be at least 500 square foot, which is not a big deal because we already bought the material to make our house like 750 square foot or something like that. It's not going to be a big house. It's going to be a cabin. It's just me and Vince. So we don't have a problem with it having to be 500 square foot. That's not an issue at all. We could care less about that, really. But they do have, even though it's called unrestricted, there's rules which suck. But we have to play by the rules. Yeah, we have a camper. We were also going to live in the camper while we built our house. And they told us we cannot live in our camper on our own property unless we have a building permit and are building our house. And we can't get one of those until we get a perk test. And it's just, it's a mess. The county has just, they've got so many rules, and I can see why if I lived in a subdivision or in the city or something to that effect, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. And, we, in the middle of nowhere, I mean, middle of nowhere. We have bears, we have bobcats. I killed a 3-foot rattlesnake day before yesterday, right here on our campsite. Just walked up and he was just hanging out. Um, Avoid Georgia. Well, not all parts of Georgia are that way. These are county rules. We are in Walker County. Avoid Walker County. There's other counties in Georgia that do not have these rules. But, and why, I don't know. Walker County is a small county. It's, I mean, Walker County doesn't have a lot of money. I don't know why they are the way they are, but they had a whole thing about banning tiny houses because it looked like that the planning commission board or whatever, the guy that was over it, he was like, nobody wants to live next to one of those. Those are hideous. But I've seen tiny houses that look better than some mansions. I mean, they're beautiful. They're just small. So I'm not sure where he got that idea. And some of them cost crazy amount of money, which I would never buy one. But for a 250 square tiny house, it's sometimes $80,000, which is just blows my mind. But people pay it, but you can't put it in Walker County. Yeah, those tiny houses are cute as it can be, and we are about 5 minutes from Mentone, Alabama. They have a whole tiny house community on the river, and it's beautiful. They have walking trails, they have their little tiny houses in spots, like, I guess it's like a camp spot, but they have electricity and water and all that. But it's right on the river, and Walker County's just like, no. Hello, Homestead Aquarius. I did make it back on, yeah. I had to run and help Vince a minute with the backhoe. Wasn't sure why he was coming up here, but could have been anything. We have critters. We had a. I was just telling everybody that we had a 3-foot rattlesnake on our campsite day before yesterday that we got rid of, and you never know what you're going to see around here. How are you today, Homestead Aquarius? Right, pretty much. It's alive. It's unrestricted because we bought it and it's listed as unrestricted, but they say it's county rules, and I don't know. It's just, and it's the whole county that we have. You know, the whole Walker County is that way. I have no idea why, but whatever. We're just rolling with the punches. You're jealous that you had a rattle. I had a rattlesnake and you can't find one. Well, the next one I found, you want me to box it up and send it to you? And would you want it dead or alive? When I found it, I'd walked across the field down in the edge of the woods to check on the bees, and I came back the same way I went out, and I was probably gone 15 minutes, and he was laid right across the trail. So I don't know if he came out of our pile of firewood or there was a dead log over here that he may have came out of, but that log's gone. He may have fell out of a tree. I have no idea where he came from, but he was just hanging out. And he never rattled at me, so I guess he was never threatened by me. I didn't almost step on him or anything. I probably got, I don't know, 6 foot away, and he just laid there and looked at me. But we have small grandchildren, and those scare me for my grandkids. And I was terrified that it was going to get away and I wouldn't know where it was at. And the next, my kids and grandkids were actually on their way up here when I found it because they camped out with us that night. So, hi, Going Green Mom. How are you doing, Megan? So it scared me that it would get away and I wouldn't know where it went, but we took care of it and no longer have to worry about him. So I guess I can take you guys on a little walk. I can walk you over to the home site or the build site and show you it, and then we'll make a loop and see the small garden and the fruit trees and go down to the pond where he's digging. It's a huge mess right now, but it's going to be a great asset for us. Yeah, definitely look at the county rules. Even if it says it's unrestricted, go ahead and see if the county has any limitations or anything like that. Because somehow those got worked in there and still have the property listed as unrestricted, which is really unfair. Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to do our septic tank. We got to get the perk test first. Um, Vince has a backhoe, so he wants to do all the digging and etc. But that's all up to Walker County because they have a huge thing about you have to use the people that's on their list. So I think there may be some pocketing of money going somewhere to somebody because I'm not sure why they would care if you're licensed to do it. Why do we have to pull off your list? But we'll see. We'll see. But we please contact a free snake relocator on Facebook. Get them to catch it, ship it to me alive, please, or just let them remove it. But understand, I ain't gonna preach. Hello, Timmy Ray. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, Homestead Aquarius, unpoisonous snakes, I don't bother. I will catch them myself and relocate them. Actually, I have brought king snakes and put them in our building with all of our wood, hoping that they would stay there, keep the mice gone, and keep poisonous snakes away. But I'm not relocating poisonous snakes. I'm just not. I don't. I'm not gonna mess with them. They have to leave. And I know that's kind of harsh because I'm in the woods and I'm moving into their home, but that's just the way it is. You go overboard on your builds 3 times better. About the corruption. Yeah. I haven't seen that, but I'll go look at the comment. Yeah, there's a corruption for sure. I'm also blessed, Timmy Ray. Yeah, and snakes really don't scare me, but that one scared me just because I knew my biggest fear was it would get away and my grandbabies would be here and I wouldn't know where it was at, and I would just have to, I don't know, hold them all the time or be right with them. So I guess we'll walk over to the home site. And on this phone, I have no idea how to turn this camera around so you guys can see. Let's see if I can do this. That is not it. I don't know how to do this and turn this camera around. Okay, so I'll just have to turn it around with my hand and show you guys everything. But when I do this, I won't be able to see the chat. So I'll try to. Hey, Garden State Gardener. I will try to catch up in the chat after we get done with our walk. So this is the home site here. We just took down a bunch of trees right here in this one spot. And this is where we will put our house at some point. Whenever we get all of our permits, etc., yada, yada, yada. And over here's our year's worth of driveway. Took us about a year to get this driveway in. It was a huge mess. There's a bunch of videos about putting in this blasted driveway. It was a lot. It's about 2 football fields long, but it's here now and it seems to be holding up well. And we have all these wood chips that were given to us that we use for planting stuff, putting it in the rows in our garden. These are part of the trees that were dug up on the home site. And I guess we'll go see the bees first, but we'll have to walk through the woods to do it. So let's take a walk. And hope we don't run into any lions, tigers, or bears. Oh my. And at some point we have to get us some guineas because we have so many ticks out here. Ticks, 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 ticks. We have lots and lots of ticks. These are logs over here that we're going to use. We're going to have milled. Still not sure if we're going to buy a sawmill and mill these ourselves. But this is a siding that goes on our house. These are trees that came off the build site also. And we've got a bunch of pots. I'll show you guys some pots we got for free. If you guys have Facebook Marketplace, you should keep your eye out because there's so many good things that come across Facebook Marketplace, and lots of times they're free. We found a nursery that was shutting down, and they had irrigation. They had already sold all the greenhouses though. They had irrigation pipes. They had pots, and they said just come and get them.
So we have all these irrigation drip lines they gave us. They gave us these fence posts. Well, we're going to use them for fence posts. That's not what they were using them for. And they gave us all these pots. And they said, just come and get them. So we have a ton of pots. One day we'll have a pole barn and put those in. But right now we do not. Can't believe you still have service. We can't move and lose service. Or you can't move or you lose service. Well, we're real lucky to have service about probably 15 minutes away from here. There is a massive gated subdivision, but it's weekend homes for rich people. People don't even stay there all the time, but it's their weekend homes. And there's a golf course in the subdivision, and they just have mansions in there. That's why I have service here, is because doctors and lawyers and rich people have to have their service, so I can also use it in the middle of nowhere, which is really nice. But Verizon is the only one that works here. No other phone service will work. Yeah, we've got container pot central for sure. For sure. We'll walk over to the bees, and then we'll walk out of the woods and go look at the small garden that we're really proud that the deers have not eaten yet. I planted a lot of onions, have a bunch of onion beds, planted onions on both sides of the tomatoes and peppers, and some garlic, just because from what I've read, deer don't like onions and garlic. They don't like the way it smells. So far, unless they came out here last night and bothered the tomatoes and peppers, they're still out there. So I hope they leave them alone, because we do not have the barbed wire up high enough on this back fence for the deers not to be able to jump on the front and the back of the property. We haven't finished that. I think I'm going to go this way. We've got a couple of trails cut out, and this one at the end of it, it's full of bushes that needs to be cut again, mowed, bush hogged, whatever you want to call it. So we'll go back this way. Hello, Allison Britton. I was just showing everybody where the house was going to go, and all those containers that your dad got. Now we're going to look at the bees. Yeah, I'm nature walking. We're going to look at the bees. I gotta switch hands. Oh, this phone gets heavy. So while I walk, I'm just gonna turn this around so you guys can see the view. Yeah, it's pretty nice to nature walk out here, Allison. You left your jacket at the camper, by the way, if you start looking for it. So you guys can enjoy the nature as we walk through the woods. There's a deer feeder up here. The people Um, we bought the property from, had some people up here deer hunting. We don't deer hunt. Um, don't know anything about it really, but they left their stuff here from deer hunting and haven't come and gotten it. So it's still out here. We've had a couple people ask if they could come deer hunt, but uh, we told a couple people they could, and I don't know if they ever shot anything, or I have no idea. But when we get our fence up, they'll have to hunt on the other side of the fence, which is perfectly fine with me. The trail to the bees is the long way around, but it was easiest cut this way because these were all small trees down through here. So these are the beehives. My dad's the bee guy. I'm just learning bees. But we have 2 hives, and my dad's teaching me about the bees. And he built his beehives like this instead of up because it's easier for them to stay warm in the wintertime when they're done this way. That's what I'm told. So these guys are just working like busy little bees. Good job, ladies. We'll go around to the other side. See the other hive. Their openings on the other side of their box. And these ladies are working too. I don't think there's as many bees in this hive as there is the other. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. They just don't have as many going in and out all the time. We also have a swarm trap over here. And I don't see anything moving or looking like anything swarmed over there. But we have a swarm trap over there because any bees are welcome. But that's our 2 hives. Hate the ticks. Yeah, ticks are. We have those little tiny ticks, and they just run. They'll bite you, and they'll run somewhere else and bite you, and then they'll run somewhere else and bite you, and then they'll finally sit down somewhere. So you have tick bites all over you by the time you find them. Today is June the 1st. I'm sorry, Going Green Mom. I'm not up to date on the chat. So I'm not sure if that was for me or for somebody else. But yes, today is June the 1st. So now we can go out and look at the small garden. It's not much up here because it was just kind of a test garden because we don't have all the barbed wire up for our keep the deer out. So far it's done okay. They have nibbled here and there on our fruit trees. But we make a mixture of cayenne pepper, water, Dawn dish soap, onions, and garlic. And we boil it and we put it in a sprayer and we spray the trees with it. It helps with bugs, but it also helps with deer. The deer will still come and nibble, but it tastes bad to them. They move on. They may move on to the next tree and nibble on it, but they don't eat much of it and they move on and go their merry way because it doesn't taste good. But I also have leaf curl now on my peach trees. So I've got some spray for the fungus that causes that. And we're going to spray them this evening and get that cut out, we hope. And I think we have one tree with one apple on it. So we might get one apple this year, guys. Yay! It'll probably be the best apple I've ever eaten in my life. Lots of work went into these trees and planting them. And my garden needs water, but we don't have any water up here, so we have to go to where he's digging a pond and haul it up in 5-gallon buckets for the trees, for the plants. It's a job. But I'll show you guys what's going on here. This is a small garden. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 onion beds. Some of them are doing better than others. We do have this here in the walkways, so the walkways would be weed free. But we have a ton of onions. We have yellow, red, and white onions planted. We have done this because not only do we like onions, we have someone that owns a restaurant that said they would buy onions from us. So we overplanted tons of onions this year. And other than that, we have here in this row, we have some tomato plants. And I'm starting this for use as a trellis. It's not perfect, but I'm working on it. But we have our tomato plants. These are tiny compared to the ones that we have at home. And see, here's my onions planted on the other side of the tomatoes there. And we also have pepper plants. Now, all these peppers we started from seed, and they're not looking so hot, but they're alive. So hopefully they'll be okay. They've got onions planted behind them too. And these pepper plants are plants that we got as plants, not started as seed. We got a pepper starting there, and they're blooming. They need a drink of water really bad. And these tomato plants were put out as plants, or bought as plants and put out, not by seed. We got a green tomato, guys. Green tomato. Can't wait to have some fried green tomatoes. Yeah, we love our property. We just aren't happy with all the rules and everything that's going to set us behind. It won't stop us from building a house, but it's going to put us behind about a year, more than likely. So here are our trees. I'll flip you around. So we have these planted as apple tree, peach tree, apple tree, peach tree, apple tree. And we only did that for the blooming. So because the peaches and the apples will not bloom at the same time, every other tree will be blooming at the same time, if that makes sense. And these leaves on my peach tree, this is caused by fungus. These leaves will turn red, then they turn yellow, and they fall off. And right there's a sign of it, if you can see that. And, well, from the research I've done, let me say that. From the research I've done, I think it's from a fungus, and it's called leaf curl. But we're going to get all these guys sprayed. See, this is what the deer has done. It's come in here. Make sure you can see this. It's come in here and eat the leaves right off of this and nipped the end of it off. But that's all it did. It didn't destroy the whole tree because I sprayed that with the witch soup we make with the garlic and the onions and the cayenne pepper and the dish Dawn liquids. dish liquid soap, and it doesn't taste good. So they nibbled here, bit the end of this off, and they went on somewhere else. And here's another example of my trees and their leaf curl. And my apple trees are looking pretty stinking good. We do have something that eats on them every once in a while. But as you can see, all these leaves on here, they don't like it when I spray that stuff. And I just spray it every time it rains. And it keeps the deer and the bugs away mostly. And I don't know if you guys can see my martin gourds up here. I don't know if that's a baby or a mama or a daddy got its head stuck out. I'm going to say it's probably a baby waiting on mom to bring her something to eat. But if you guys don't have martin gourds, you should get some. They're really good for your plants. They're really good for you. They catch flying bugs. They catch bugs on the wing. They do not light or sit somewhere and get their food. They catch it in the air. So they're great for mosquitoes. But they'll eat any other flying bug too. So, and they're out here next to this and close to the garden. I'm also going to put, I don't know if you can see this top strand of barbed wire here. I'm going to get some more martin gourds and hang them on this top row, and hopefully I'll have bluebirds that come and live in those. And bluebirds will get in the garden and pick bugs off the plants. So it's kind of a win-win situation. Bluebirds have a place to live, raise their babies, and then they help me out by eating the bugs. And they'll eat bugs off of my fruit trees too. And right now we don't have a lot of bugs on our fruit tree anyway, because they're not bearing fruit. They're brand new trees. Once they start bearing fruit, they will have a lot of bugs. Worms mostly. And hopefully if I put those up there and the bluebirds are out here, they're able to take care of some of those for me. Let's see. I have a fig tree that I planted down here, and I thought it was dead, but it has survived. It's come back from the roots, which makes me really happy. I like me some figs, but it looked dead as a doornail. I mean, it had no life to it at all. I put it in the ground anyway. The deers did break this off. They broke the top out of this one. I don't know how. I don't know if they were trying to jump over it or they deliberately broke it. I have no idea. But they broke the top out of that one. And across the field over here, which is not our property on the other side of the fence, this is just a hay field, but there's some sort of apple tree over there. I don't know what kind it is. I did walk over there last year and it had apples on it. And at night, the deer would come and congregate under that apple tree and just gorge themselves. So once we get fruit, that's another thing that we're going to have to deal with if this doesn't work. The fencing with a, 8-foot tall fence. We'll see. We don't have the front or the back done yet, so I can't tell you that it's going to work or it's not going to work. I do know that they're not currently jumping through this fence. They're jumping through the front or the back. They may be doing that just because it's easier. I have no idea. So my little fig tree here, and it looks like something's broke it. Something may have stepped on it. This is my little fig tree, and as you can see, it's coming up right there. Oh look, it's put on a new limb right there. And it's got more growth right there coming up. Something's broke that part. But I thought this was definitely dead when I put it in the ground, but it seems like it is just coming right back, which is nice. Sometimes plants surprise me. They look so dead and brittle and nasty, and then you put them in the ground and boom, they're they're now growing. Hello, Heritage Heart Homestead. Hello, Xander's Adventures. How's everybody today? We're just walking around the homestead, showing off what we've got done. Um, it's not a whole heck of a lot, but we're proud of it, and we worked hard to get it. And this is the pond he's digging. In the bottom of the pond, there's a bunch of gray clay, and the water's stirred up, and it just looks like gray milk. It's I hope it clears up, but here it is. So this is what it looks like so far, and this is the deepest part. This is where the rim's going to be, and he's gonna go back to where all this dirt is and make it around like that. It's not going to be a huge pond to begin with, just because we want to make sure that it holds water. We've already had 2 snapping turtles that's moved in. One of them is ginormous. The other one's not so big. But they're going to pose a problem when we start putting fish in this. But it is what it is. Have to deal with nature. But this is what he's got done on the pond so far. This is what's in the bottom there. It's just red clay. I know that looks like a stone, but it is not. It's just clay. And this is pretty dry clay. But when he first pulls it out, it looks like that mess over there. If you step in it, you lose your boots. Take your boots right off your feet. Suck it down. But this is what's in the bottom. This is probably why it holds water so well. I can't bust this with one hand. But yeah, that's what it is. But every time he digs deeper or further out, it automatically fills up. It is also draining the swampy area we had in the corner of the property into this pond, which is great because that was just a huge mosquito pit, and it was just nasty. It was under the trees. It never dried out. It stayed about ankle deep in water all the time. It was just disgusting. Yeah, we've got a lot of clay, down in that area. Up here, it's not so bad. I don't know, but before he got to the clay, there was, I don't know, 3 or 4 foot of topsoil that was really nice. But after that, it's just clay, lots and lots of clay. But we're not going to plant down there anyway. It's going to be a pond. Hopefully it will just continue to hold water like it should. And we can pump that water up to our field. One day, we want all this planted in something. But we could use that for our irrigation, for trees, for any of our plants. And we can use it to water our animals also once we get some up here. But that's pretty much what's going on. We're waiting on permits, doing what we can when we can with what we got, and hoping to build a house soon. If you guys know anybody that's licensed in Georgia that wants to come take a vacation, send them on down. They're welcome to camp on the property. We're between 2 state parks. They could go stay there. We're willing to pay extra to get somebody to come do a perk test. But you have to be licensed in the state of Georgia. So, I don't know. We'll go sit down and chat a minute now that we've taken a walk. I'm a little parched. Need something to drink. And we've got enough in this garden right here, where our onions and tomatoes and things were. We've got enough room to put another row in there, which would be nice, but I don't know what we're going to put. Last year, we planted sunflowers, watermelons, cantaloupes, and pumpkins. And I don't know if the deer ate them I'm sure they did, but we didn't have a fence up at all at that point. But they ate everything except gourds. I had planted some gourds. They did not eat my gourds. And won't have nothing to do with that. But they ate everything I planted. And they didn't eat them when they were babies either. They let the plant get bigger. Maybe it tastes better when it gets bigger. Who knows? Never been a deer, so I don't know. And I haven't read the deer handbook. Set you guys down right here. Yeah, I hope it's going to be a nice pond. Wickershire, you're moving to North Carolina or Kentucky? A official won't come with the county. The county used to have a county official that would come out and do your perk test. They've changed all that. I don't know if they just didn't want to pay them or I have no idea why, but they've changed it. And now you have to hire your own soil scientist. They give you a list of people that are certified in the state of Georgia, and it's up to you to call them, make an appointment, pay them, get the perk test, and then take the results that the soil scientist gives you down to the environmental agency, and then they give you a permit to start your septic tank, etc. And then once that's done, they'll give you a building permit to start building your house. The deer did not bother our watermelon, cantaloupe, or butternut squash. They like beans and corn. And my deer might like different stuff. Well, I don't know. I'm just assuming it's the deer that ate them. I mean, we have all kinds of wildlife around here. So I didn't see the deer eat them. So it could have been something else. I just assumed it was the deer. Yeah, it's stupid, but it is what it is. It's too late now. We already bought our dream property, and it's if we would have known this, let's see, in October we would have had this property 2 years. If we would have known this, we could have started the ball rolling on this a year ago. But we didn't know this because we told them we wanted to go totally off the grid. And to begin with, they were like, yeah, we're fine with that. And then they're like, but you can't start until you get a building permit. We said, okay. And then COVID came and nobody was working. The whole county was shut down. There was nobody. You couldn't talk to anybody. They just weren't working. They weren't working from home answering phones. They weren't answering emails. They just weren't working. So we finally talked to someone and they said, well, you got to talk to the environmental agency. And we talked to them and they said, well, you can do a composting toilet. That's fine. You still have to pay us for a permit for the composting toilet and we have to come inspect it. I don't know why they need to inspect a composting toilet because it's basically an outhouse. But we said, okay, if you want to come look at our outhouse and our bucket, come on. So we invited them and wanted our permit, and they said, but if you're going to have any type of running water in your house, you have to have a septic tank and you have to have a perk test. So we just wish we would have known that way before now. And the people in the county are less than helpful. That's to say the least. They are not helpful at all. And quite frankly, some of them are just hateful. I mean, just downright hateful. But it is what it is, and we try to keep a smile on our face and roll with the punches. I can't gripe too much because we are super blessed. We are blessed beyond what we deserve, and as it is frustrating, I know we'll get through it and everything will be okay. And
it is what it is. But yeah, money, money, money. That's basically what it boils down to. And we knew we were going to have to give them money and pay for permits and blah blah blah. That was no surprise at all that we were going to have to give them money. But it is what it is. And I just thought I would, because I started this channel so people could watch our homestead from the ground up. And it's been so long that we've done anything on our property, really. We've just been gardening, is all we've been doing, because we don't have permits or anything to build a house. So I just thought everybody that started watching for that purpose knew what was going on, because we haven't told anybody, really. And we just found out not too long ago. So I am putting out a video this week or next week that has a small bit in it, just letting you know, hey, this is why we're not building a house yet. We're still building a house at some point. It's just not happening right now. That's right. Yeah, you would think sometimes it's like the right hand is doing something and the left hand has no clue what the right hand is doing, because you'll go to the planning commission, they'll say this, you go to the environmental agency, they'll say this, and it's I don't know. I wish they could talk to one another and get their stuff together. It would help people like me. We're in the off the grid channel at our core. We also cannot show anything due to our hands tied here at the property. Yeah, yeah. And it looks like that we may not be totally off the grid the way we wanted to, just because of all the rules and regulations that they've put on us. But it is what it is. I mean, we could always sell the property and go somewhere else, but this is our dream property. We looked for a year, and we looked at this one about 10 times before we said that's the one we want. And I don't want to pick up and leave. I love it. And I guess that's what the county's banking on, is that we love it and that we wouldn't sell, because anybody behind us is going to have the same problem unless they just put cattle on it, or something to that effect, and wasn't going to build a house. Once you get land, you'll be unleashed. Well, I hope you do. The best thing I can tell you is do your research. Do your research. Call the environmental agency in the county that you're going to. Call the planning commission. Do all that before you buy your property. But honestly, I love this place so much. Even if I knew this ahead of time, we still would have purchased it, because we just really love it here. We would have just known the steps earlier and been further along, because we would have got the ball rolling, because we would have already knew what was required of us to be able to build a home. I'm just looking through the chat. I know I missed a lot while I was walking and talking, because I couldn't see the chat. Deer loved watermelon a couple of years back. Garden State Gardener, if you're still in here, did they eat your watermelon plants or just the watermelon? Because something ate my plants before I ever got watermelons. Rabbits like tender plants. It could have been a rabbit. Yeah, it definitely could have been. Um, like I said, I just assumed it was a deer. I have no idea.
Yeah, our pond, every piece of property that surrounds us has a pond except ours. We did find a. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, okay. Um, we did find a spring on the property, but it doesn't come up out of the ground until on the other side of the fence on the neighbor's property. I think that now I don't know how clean the water is, but the water runs year round. It's just a small trickle. The stream may be, I don't know, 3 inches deep by a foot wide, maybe, if that much. Um, and we can think we can anyway dig past that because it's running, the spring's running that way across our property underground. I don't know how deep it is, but I believe we can dig a hole in the path and have the spring come up on our property too. So we may be able to use that water also for, you know, I don't know that I can use it for drinking water, but it may be enough to do my dishes in. Because right now, this blue barrel that's behind me, this is what we use to wash laundry with. We wash dishes with it, and we have a one of those solar showers. It's just a bag, hang it in the sun. It has a little shower spout on it. We use that for our solar shower, and we fill it up at my parents' house. But if we had a spring that I could haul water from to do things like that, dishes, but not actually drink it, or I guess I could boil it and drink it anyway. I don't know, but that would be nice to have that. The Wickershire project is talking about solar. Now, I know nothing about solar. My dad is an electronics guy, and Vince's brother went to school to do some kind of electrician something. I don't know, but are going to contract them out to do our solar. Also, it is windy up here a lot. If we decide to dig a well, we want to put a windmill on the well to pump the water out. But that would be later on. We're not going to be digging wells right now. But later on, we might. Billy is going to do some awesomeness one day. Yeah, sounds like he's got it down pat. Um, Underground spring water is good. Yeah, I remember as a kid going with my parents to one of my cousin's house, and they had a spring, and we would get the water in jugs. I don't remember what they were doing with the water, but you could drink straight out of the spring. It was crystal clear, nice water. Um, it was really nice. But this water, we think it's a spring. It could be just underground water overflow from a pond next door or something. I'm not sure, but we're pretty sure it's a spring. We would have to look more into that. We just found it not too long ago, so we'll we may do that this summer. I don't know. We'll see. 10 years of off the grid research pent up. You're ready to let it loose, aren't you? Can't wait to follow all this, Wickershire. Yeah. Um, I will definitely be watching Wickershire. And I hope that you find the perfect piece of property that's perfect for you, and you get it all set up, and so be it. Just do it. Do it. That's something I can 100% back, is somebody that will work hard, make whatever dream you have come true. You're the only one that can do it. Uh, Nobody else is going to do it for you.
So has anybody done anything interesting in their garden lately? I've done nothing except tie up some tomatoes to cattle panels to keep them from falling over. Mm, we tilled the rows and did some hoeing, and what else did we do? Oh, we had some aphids. We sprayed our tomatoes with neem oil because we had some aphids. We had an aphid infestation. uh, but we um, sprayed with neem oil. We cut some sucker leaves off, and we've got quite a few green tomatoes. They're just not big enough to make fried green tomatoes yet. Fried green tomatoes is always my first big plate or big meal. I don't know what you want to call it. Dish, I guess. Big dish that I make out of the garden every year, and it's always the last because we always have green tomatoes on the vine, and it's going to come frost. We pull those green tomatoes and we make fried green tomatoes out of them. It's always the first and last dish we make out of the garden, and not far behind that comes canning season, and it will be full blown busy, 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 busy. You can walk away from weeding, and the consequences, there's still consequences, but you cannot walk away from canning. When those vegetables are ready, they're ready to be picked. However, if you're going to freeze them, can them, dehydrate them, you got to jump on that, or they will ruin, and you just won't. That's a huge consequence to pay. It's a consequence that I'm not willing to do. Occasionally, something may happen, and I don't get something canned in time, and it may go bad, and the chickens or goats get it. But I try my best not to make that happen. I will work myself ragged to keep from wasting all that hard work that I've worked for. You know, we started our first seedlings in, when was it? February. It was the end of February, I think. And from February until, the end of the garden season, we have worked and worked, whether it was watering seedlings, up potting. It's a lot of work to put into something and then be too tired or don't have the time to get in there and do what needs to be done, and those vegetables go to waste. It's bad, and I try my best not to make that happen. We had a freezer that went out over the winter, and we froze a lot of vegetables and put in that freezer, and we didn't know it went out, and all of it went to waste. It's a sickening feeling, a sickening feeling, and I feel the same way if you pull the vegetables out of the garden and then you don't have time to can them or freeze them, and having every intention of doing it, or I would just give it away. But it has happened before, and it's just really sickening. Hardest part of off grid is a road in. Sorry guys, I can't see. In and land clearing. The rest is easy, instant. Woo! Jumping. Instant home in the form of 16 by 40 foot shed to house style cabin. Asian paper inside. Walls, easy mount and move. You got it all laid out, Wickershire, and I agree with you. The hardest part is putting in a driveway. Yeah, if you haven't seen our driveway videos, go ahead and watch those. We had to dig. There was a hole that we had to dig down, like, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 foot, and we brought in 21 loads of brick and 21 pickup loads of brick, and we loaded all those by hand and we unloaded all those by hand to fill that. It was a swamp is what it was, and we dug all that mess out and we put in the brick and block,
put chert on top, and then put crush and run on top of that. Um, it was a whole year's project, but we finally got a driveway, and it's standing up to the weather and everything else. Doing sawmill work. We want to do sawmill work, but we're not sure that we want to buy the sawmill or take the logs to the mill and have them do the work. Because we have plenty enough trees to do our siding on our house, and I want big open beams, and we have the wood to do that too. Hello, the urban gardener. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Learning stone splitting. Bye, Garden State Gardener. Thanks for coming in. Stone splitting for walls and secret garden. Ooh, you're going to have a secret garden? So we are going to build cabins also for like Airbnb, but they will be 100% off the grid because they are going to be super tiny and they're not going to have any type of electricity. It's going to be raw dogging it. If you come rent here, it's just a bed and a roof over your head, pretty much. There'll be, I think we're gonna put a wood stove in them, but there'll be no air. There'll be no running water. There'll be no solar panels. There'll be none of that. It's just a raw cabin because we live in between two state parks. Neither one of them have cabins to rent. They do have RV sites to rent. There's also a hunters club that is close to us. They also do not have cabins. There is also several hiking trails close to us, and of course they don't have cabins. But there's a lot of things around us and really close to us that we believe that people would come rent something and stay the night and go do, whatever they wanted to do during the day. Good to see you, Urban Gardener. And actually, the house that's across this hayfield on the other side of my fruit trees, that is an Airbnb house. Nobody lives in that. And of course, it does have water and electricity and all that. But they just do Airbnb, and it's booked all the time. There's people there all the time, in and out. This is a really beautiful place, and if you like nature and hiking and swimming and canoeing and fishing and hunting and all that, this is the area, the prime area around here to do that. People want their comforts. Yeah, people want their comforts. But I would definitely be upfront and let them know, hey, it's rugged. You're just gonna have to. It's like gonna be in a tent with a bed, basically. We thought about maybe doing RV sites for like boondocking for people, but because we would have to probably put them in the field, and we're going to plant that, so we don't want people parking RVs in the field where we're going to plant. We could probably make sites in the woods, but I don't want to take out any more trees than I have to. I love the trees, and I want to keep, most of them. Yeah, hunter's cabin. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it would be.
Thanks, Timmy Ray. Britain Farm Homestead. Chickens and rabbits. Are you asking, do I have chickens and rabbits? I do have chickens. I do have rabbits. Have some goats. They're all at my parents' house. They're not here because you can't leave animals here and us not here all the time, and we're just not here all the time. I actually have some Holland Lops. My rabbits are not meat rabbits. I'll get meat rabbits at some point, but not right now. And the only reason I have Holland Lops is because somebody gave me a Holland Lop. Then somebody gave me a Holland Lop, and then I bought a male and had some kits. And I sell them as fast as I can get them. And people usually use them for pets because I guess you could eat them if you wanted to, but they're not going to be much meat on them because they're not meat rabbits. I get hungry enough, I might eat them, but that's not what they're typically raised for. Yeah, I have them already. I have chickens, rabbits, and goats already. They're just at my parents' house. Do you have a cow? Well, I do not have a cow. We did. My brother, me, and my dad went in on a calf, and we were going to have it slaughtered, but it hasn't got to the slaughterhouse yet. But we didn't raise that calf. Somebody else has raised it, and we just went in to buy it and take it to the slaughterhouse. So no, we don't have a cow. What do you cover the beds with? Straw, mulch, or plastic? Wicker. Hello, Michael McReynolds. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for supporting. Appreciate it. So what beds are you talking about, Wickershire? Are you talking about my beds here in the walkways? Or are you talking about the beds that I planted in plastic at my parents' house? Here, we put down, just in the walkways, we put down cardboard, and then we put shavings on top just to keep the walkways weed free. Nothing is with the plants. That's going to have to be hoed or, picked out by hand, the weeds. At my parents' house, we had some black plastic that was on a roll that's been in the chicken house for I don't know how long. This is the first year we've planted in plastic. I don't know what kind of plastic it was. It was some that we had to. I'm not sure what my dad was using it for. Anyway, he said you can use it, so we used it, and then part of it are old billboard tarps. On one side, the billboards has advertisements of different types on one side, and the back side is black. So we put the advertisement face down and the black side's up, and we just cut holes in it and planted in it. And it seems to be working out really well, just as well as the black plastic. But they are sturdy, so they can be used next year also. Once the garden gets done, we can take those up, roll them up. Of course, we'll have to plant back in the same holes in the billboard tarps, but they seem to be doing really well. They're really sturdy, really thick, heavy. If I would have cut the trees around my cabin area and replaced them with fruit trees, a tornado took many of mine and convinced me to cut most of the rest. I truly hated to. Yeah, that's why because our house is not going to be as big as this lot is. There is one more tree that he wants to take down, but that's why we took the trees down, is because we didn't want a tree to fall on our house. As much as I love the trees and want to keep them,
Yeah, they have to go. 20 people on my are watching you on my. Thank you, Timmy Ray. Thank you very much. I'm gonna scroll up in the chat here and see if I missed anything. Yeah, if you guys don't care, go ahead and hit the thumbs up for me. Thanks for the reminder, Michael. And we have also never um, watered our garden. We've always planted things. I mean, when we first planted, if we were putting plants in the ground, we'd water them. And then whatever fell out of the sky is the rain that they got. We didn't water them. So this year we've done a little different. We've watered things, and it has a lot to do with we did plant in plastic. We have no irrigation, drip irrigation. Next year we hope to have that. But at this point, we don't have it, so we're watering by hand. It takes High Farm and HVAC. Thanks for coming in. It takes a long time to water all the plants we have. If you've been following us, we have over 300 tomato plants. We have over 200 pepper plants. And that's what we're watering, but we're only watering those because we have so many. We planted so many because we do have somebody that said that they would like to purchase some. But this is the first year that we've watered like this. We put it in the ground and it either makes it or it don't. And we usually have a halfway decent garden that way. But this year, I guess you could say we're babying our garden, and we've never babied it before, but we are this year. Timmy Ray, because I'm on my phone, I don't know how to make you a mod, but I'll be live again on my computer the 3rd, which is day after tomorrow. And we're doing live trivia. If you would like to show up, we'll have great prizes. It will be June the 3rd at 8 p.m. We have several prizes. I hope everybody can show up. It's a gardening trivia, I believe is what it is. It's about fruits, vegetables, etc. And everybody's welcome, and it's pretty easy to play, and we have all kinds of prizes. I usually do it once a month. Sometimes I do it twice a month, but so for June, it's going to be on the 3rd. I hope everybody can show up and get in there and win some prizes. I will let you know, Timmy Ray. I just can't do it on my phone right now. I don't want to monkey with it and lose the live. I don't go live from my phone much, so not sure how to work everything on it. Your fruit trees are about the same height as your trailer. We got our fruit trees are semi-dwarf. So they're not dwarf trees, but they're semi-dwarf. So they're supposed to stay pretty small for a fruit tree. I hope so, because we don't want, once they get bigger, we don't want them to shade the field when the sun starts to come over. But when they get bigger, they'll be a great wind block, because we have a lot of wind up here. Right now, it's just barely blowing, but sometimes it's a crazy storm, just wind. Yeah, I enjoy doing the lives, and from what I hear from people that's giving me feedback, they enjoy playing. Wickershire did win a T-shirt.
Yeah, I like doing the lives and giving stuff away. Lots of times it's cookbooks or gardening books and things of that nature. But we have a few different things for June the 3rd. My mom actually painted something, so we have a painting. Um, I believe, I don't have it with me, but I believe I have a book, and I think it's a cookbook, but I could be wrong. It could be a gardening book. I don't know. Sometimes I also do food preservation books, like recipes and how to dehydrate things and how to can or things like that. So I do a lot of those because I feel those are helpful to people that want to learn that anyway. Let me wear out the armpits first. Hmm. uh, Well, guys, I've been on here almost an hour and 30 minutes. I guess I'm going to jump off here, do a little more work. Um, I'm just getting the camper ready. But I hope everybody can make it to the trivia June the 3rd, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I hope everybody has a blessed day. Everybody remember, today is a great day to have a great day. God bless y'all. Have a great day.